Alright guys and girls, this video is a little bit long-winded, so you may follow along, you might want to listen along. There isn't really much to see. So, if it's something you want to do on the old headset or whatever, feel welcome to do so. Let's continue. Okay friends, I'm going to speak up kind of loud. I'm on a busy road. I'm actually walking from my destination behind me. This is what I'm looking in front of me. What's behind me is right back here. It's this auto place. It's where I've gotten a lot of work done. And I could get a ride, but I'm not always about taking the easy route. So I'm actually walking down the road, the same road I walked down many years ago that I found my business. And I was trying to explain to my daughter one night about the reason why we don't always take the easy route. And I always tell her, I said, I can get anywhere as long as I got this. I got my boots on. I'm not as scared to walk or go the extra mile. That's what I try to prove to myself. And if you look at today, look at this beautiful sunrise. It's a beautiful day out. Absolutely beautiful. So I dropped off one of the service vehicles. It's getting a brake controller. I should have been putting in it from the get-go. It just never happened. And one of my techs was going to pick me up. I started thinking about it. I said, I'll take a walk. Beautiful day out, you know. Might as well. And that way he can get things started too on his own and all that jazz. And also, sometimes I find cool things on the side of the road. I found $20 at one time walking down the side of the road here. So you find all kinds of weird things. But I just think it gives you some kind of, I don't know if solitude is the right answer to that. But there's just something about it, of walking down the side of the road with everybody being in a rush. Garbage though. This road gets littered with garbage. Lots of garbage. So anyway, friends, I'm going to kind of point the camera so you're not looking at my ugly face while we're walking here. But somebody asked me about starting the business and all that stuff. And it all started like, almost like right here. You know, here's a property for sale. There's another one coming up down here. And just to slow down, sometimes you can go past all these things so fast on this road, or anywhere in life, that if you just take the time, you'll normally come across some good people. You normally will find things that you won't find that if you just sit in a vehicle and take the easy route in life. Opportunities. What's that? Garbage. If I had a bag, I'd pick most of this stuff up, but I'm making a video for you guys today. So, what is this? What is that? Man, it looks like alcohol. All kinds of litter. Anyways, but I was walking from this auto place, and I was actually walking to my accountant's. And I could have got a ride that day. This was many years ago, and I actually ended up deciding to walk. And as I was walking, I came across so many things that you just don't come across in a vehicle, because most people look at everybody on the road. Everybody's on the road. Nobody's walking. Everybody's taking the easy route. Of course, they're going to work and all that stuff. There's something to be said about that. I'm not discounting that. But what I'm saying is, basically, don't always try to take the easy route. There's so much humbleness into walking with your own two legs. That's a gift. It's a gift that most people take for granted. It's kind of like electricity. We all take it for granted until the power goes out. So you should exercise. You should get out, stretch your legs, be happy basically the good Lord gave them to you. You have them, you got a heartbeat, you're alive today, you can breathe the air. And the air just smells different. I'm not gonna say it's the best, but it definitely smells different. So anyways, we're walking up to a service center that's next to us here. They've grown a lot. I'm really impressed. Look at this. Look at this. Little gifts from the angels. Look at this. Look at that little flower. All this destruction that's happened. Those little flowers. I see those all around our area. almost like this was somebody's farmland at one time, and they planted this. Maybe a sweet little old lady, young lady could have been too, who knows. I know this particular customer, well, our neighbor, was looking for a fence, but for this swale, I think right in here, there's a little swale, maybe you can't see it here, but there's a dip here for the runoff. And I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna do it or not. I don't know if he bought, I know he bought the fence or something. It was kind of weird scenario like that. But this guy's done a lot for this business. Look at that old beast. Look at that old beast. Anyways, got some plants out here and stuff. Does good work. So it was this same walk many years ago. I don't even know how many years ago. I don't know how long I've been. I think I've been in this building for about 5 years or so. And I remember exactly how it was. I was walking down the road here, and I was cutting across the road, and I literally was walking up to this property right here. That's our building back there. And there was a for sale sign, maybe similar to this. It was a little bit smaller. It was not as nice. And I remember it was in the ditch. It was laying in the ditch on its side. And so, with it laying on its side, I found it and I dug it up. I called the number. And look at this. Look at this happy camper coming in. Right on time. Always an early bird. Guy's dedicated, man. That guy's dedicated right there. Best worker, friend, employee you'll ever find right there. Good dude. But anyways, that sign was down in this ditch. And I remember I called it. And we'll get to continue because I'm going to get into this and get the day kind of started. And we'll continue into what happened here. Okay, so back to a little quiet in here, a little nicer. So back to the sign in the ditch. So I was walking up. That sign's laying flat on its face in the ditch. Nobody can see it. Now, by the way, when we're walking up to that property right now, that you see the ditch and you see the shop, let me tell you what, that place was a jungle. We had trees the size of my arm growing up through the ditch. Everything was overgrown. The front driveway was just nothing but like some grass, some beach sand, and hills. I mean, it was a mess. The place was a mess. So as I was walking to the accountant, I thought to myself, you know, this might be something I can afford. You know what I mean? And I thought it's kind of off the radar because nobody knows it's for sale. You just drive by it. I've drove up and down the road many times and never even noticed it. So I called the number, and I remember I got a realtor. And the guy didn't seem real sharp. You know, he just seemed kind of dull. Like he's been doing this for years. He's probably ready to retire. And I remember him saying to me, he goes, well, it's not on the market anymore. And at the time, I'm kind of like, what does that mean? You know, does it mean it's not for sale? Did it sell? He goes, well, no. He goes, I think they still want to sell it. He says it's just, they just took it off the market because it sat there for so long, you know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it was. And they just never got any bites. Now, mind you, this is back in, I don't remember what year it is, but I just know it wasn't the market, it wasn't super hot. So I said, you know, and he says, but I could probably get in contact with the owner. Now, hindsight, you know, looking back here, he was obviously trying to get her to probably re-sign back up, and so he could make, you know, a commission off it and make a sale and make money. Well, he ended up getting us together. And I remember the customer, or not the customer, I'm sorry, the owner was there. And at the time of the being there, the neighbor guy comes over. And so the neighbor guy's, it was a worker at the time. I didn't know that. I thought maybe it was just, you know, the owner of another owner here. And he starts talking to the lady, you know, and he's like, you know, and he doesn't speak real good English, but he's kind of like, oh, yeah, you know, he's like, you're going to sell the property? He's like, well, how much? You know, and I'm thinking, well, I guess I'm out of this equation. Like, it's the neighbor. He's probably got better finances to do it. He can probably just, hand her the money today, and I don't know why or what. Well, he wasn't the real owner. He was just a helper, and he was just being kind of nosy and stuff. So I didn't like the situation. I didn't feel comfortable. It was really kind of going, I didn't really understand. I felt like I needed more details. So what I ended up doing is I asked her, I said, hey, would you mind if we meet for lunch sometime? And so she said, sure, that sounds wonderful. So we exchanged numbers while the realtor and other people are doing whatever they're doing, and I said, okay, well, I'll contact you later and we'll go from there. So I think it was either the next day or so, I went up and I actually met with the lady and her husband, and I discussed, basically what we're looking to do. And she said, I think that'd be great. I don't remember. I think it was, I don't know. I think we got it pretty cheap back then. I think it was like 30 grand, something like that. But it was just a shell. The building was just a shell. And so I remember I think she wanted more. I think they wanted 50 or 60, and I got them down. And she told me, which actually now the neighbor guy is older, and he's a good dude. And she just basically kind of told me, she says, I don't want his drug money. Well, he must have had some affairs, let's just say, in the past. So anyways, that's kind of in a nutshell, kind of how I started my business, at least that business. Now, I was prior to that, I was starting, I used to have a separate garage that I used, and that was no fun. That was absolutely no fun, because you're constantly married to employees. You go on vacation, maybe you want to come home early, then they see your vehicle, they're calling you, they're saying, well, you're home, and you're like, oh, I'm not really home, I'm coming back in 2 days. That's always a mess. So that's kind of a broad spectrum. Somebody had a question for me a while back here, that they were just wondering, how I kind of started my business, and that's just kind of the insight of it. So, I think the point of the story is, take chances, take risk. I can't tell you, if you don't know, try. The only time you're failing in life is if you don't try. You know what I mean? That's the biggest. Now, if you keep doing it over and over and keep failing at the same thing and expecting a different result, they call that insanity. Albert Einstein quoted that. But you always have to try in life. Don't be afraid, and it doesn't happen overnight. It really doesn't. It's like chopping down a tree with an axe. It's one crack at a time. And sometimes the axe head pops up, and you're going, oh, and you got to dip it in water, swell it up, put a wedge in it, and you go back at it, and you keep chopping. And then all of a sudden one day, it's like that tree kind of falls down, and you're like, you got a victory, right? But there's still more work to be done. So then you have to cut it up. So business is very, very challenging like that. So, but it can be good to you. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, share. Don't forget to give your mom and the dad a hug. We'll talk to you later. See you guys.